The galaxy knew her name. Every species, every world, every station whispered it with fear. Una, the Venom Queen, the last of the Solari. She sat alone in her ship, watching the stars pass by through the viewport. Her ship was stolen from a Keth commander she had killed 3 years ago. She had touched his face gently, almost like a lover, and watched him die in seconds. His crew had fled in terror. She took the ship and left their bodies floating in space. This was her life now. Killing, running, hiding, killing again. Una was not always like this. She remembered her homeworld, Solara, beautiful purple forests, silver oceans, her mother teaching her to control her gift, her father laughing at dinner, her younger brother chasing small animals through the garden. The Keth Dominion came when she was 19 years old. They wanted her people's blood. The Solari produced a special toxin in their bodies. It was deadly to every alien species in the galaxy. One touch from a Solari could kill the strongest warrior. The Keth wanted to study this. They wanted to use it as a weapon. When the Solari refused, the Keth burned their world. They captured thousands of her people and took them to secret facilities. They harvested their blood, their organs, their DNA. Then they killed them. Una escaped because she killed 17 soldiers with her bare hands. She was the only one who made it off the planet. For 10 years, she searched for other survivors. She found none. Now she was 31 years old. She had killed more people than she could count. Keth soldiers, bounty hunters, criminals, anyone who stood in her way. The galaxy feared her, and she liked it that way. Fear kept her alive. Her communicator beeped. A message from the Galactic Council. Una opened it without much interest. The Council sometimes hired her for missions. They paid well, and they never asked questions. She read the message twice to make sure she understood it correctly. They wanted her to destroy a Keth weapons facility on a frontier world called Aura 7. Standard mission. Good pay. But there was a problem. They wanted to give her a partner. Una laughed. It was not a happy sound. She had not worked with anyone in 10 years. Partners were dangerous. They asked questions. They wanted to talk. They got in the way. And most importantly, she could not touch them without killing them. She sent a reply. No. The council responded within minutes. They were desperate. The facility was important. They needed someone who could bypass Keth security systems. They had found a specialist, a human. Una frowned at the screen. Humans were new to the galaxy. They had only been traveling in space for about 200 years. Most species considered them primitive, weak, unimportant. They came from a small blue planet on the edge of nowhere. What could a human possibly offer? She sent another reply. Still no. The council doubled their payment, then tripled it. They sent detailed files about the facility. They explained that thousands of lives depended on this mission. They begged. Una read through the intelligence reports. The facility was heavily guarded. Multiple security layers, encrypted systems that even she could not crack. She was good at killing, but she was not good at technology. She needed help. She hated needing help. Finally, she agreed, but she made one thing clear. If the human became a problem, she would solve that problem permanently. 3 days later, her ship docked at a small station near human space. She waited in the airlock, arms crossed, watching the door. She expected some kind of soldier, maybe a large man with weapons and armor. Someone who would try to impress her. The door opened and a man walked in. He was not what she expected. He was average height, maybe a little shorter than her. He wore simple clothes, nothing military. He carried a small bag over one shoulder. His face was calm, almost gentle. His eyes looked around the ship with quiet curiosity. "Nice ship," he said. His voice was soft. "I'm Taiho. I guess we're working together." Una said nothing. She studied him carefully. He did not look dangerous. He did not look useful. He looked like someone who worked in an office and went home to a quiet dinner every night. "The council sent you?" she asked. "Yes, I'm a tech specialist. Security systems, encryption, that kind of thing." He smiled. It was a simple, honest smile. "I know you probably don't want me here. I'll try to stay out of your way." Una walked toward him slowly. Most people backed away when she approached. They could sense the danger. Their bodies knew, even if their minds did not. But Taiho just stood there, watching her with those calm eyes. She reached out and grabbed his wrist. Her skin touched his skin. She let her toxin flow through her pores, the way she had done 1,000 times before. The poison that had killed warriors and kings. The venom that gave her the name every species feared. Taiho's expression changed slightly. He looked down at her hand on his wrist. "That stings a bit," he said. "Is your skin always like that? You might want to wash your hands." Yuna did not move. She could not move. Her mind was trying to process what was happening, but it made no sense. He should be on the floor. He should be convulsing. He should be dead. He was just standing there, rubbing his wrist like she had given him a small burn. "What are you?" she whispered. Taiho looked confused. "I'm human." "Why? What was that supposed to do?" Yuna released his wrist and stepped back. Her heart was beating fast. For the first time in many years, she felt something she had forgotten. Fear. Real fear. She had killed hundreds of aliens with her touch. Every species fell to her venom. Every single one. This ordinary-looking human had shrugged it off like nothing. "Your toxin," Taiho said slowly, understanding finally showing on his face. "You were trying to poison me?" "It kills everyone," Yuna said. Her voice sounded strange to her own ears. "Every species in the galaxy. One touch, and they die." Taiho nodded thoughtfully. "Ah, well, humans are a bit different, I guess. We evolved on a pretty rough planet. Our bodies learned to handle a lot of bad stuff. I never really paid attention in biology class, but I think it has something to do with our liver." Yuna stared at him. This man, this soft, smiling, ordinary man. He was immune to the weapon that made her the most feared person in the galaxy. She did not know whether to kill him or keep him close forever. "The mission," Taiho said, breaking the silence. "Should we talk about the plan?" Yuna took a deep breath. She had a feeling this mission was going to be very different from her others. "Follow me," she said, and walked toward the cockpit. Behind her, she heard Taiho pick up his bag and follow. She could feel his presence like warmth on her back. For the first time in 10 years, someone was close to her who would not die from her touch. She did not know how to feel about that. The journey to Aura 7 would take 6 days. 6 days trapped in a ship with a stranger. Yuna had lived alone for so long that she had forgotten what it was like to share space with another person. Taiho made himself comfortable in the guest quarters. They were small and dusty. No one had used them since Yuna took the ship. He did not complain. He unpacked his few belongings, set up some small devices on the desk, and started working on something she did not understand. For the first 2 days, Yuna avoided him. She stayed in the cockpit, watching the stars, eating her meals alone. She could hear him moving around the ship. Sometimes he hummed songs she did not recognize. Sometimes he talked to the ship's computer, asking it questions about music and poetry. The computer seemed confused by his requests. On the 3rd day, her curiosity became stronger than her caution. She found him in the small kitchen area. He was cooking something. The smell was strange, but not unpleasant. He looked up when she entered and smiled that same gentle smile. "Hungry?" he asked. "I found some ingredients in storage. Nothing special, but I can make it taste okay." Yuna sat down at the small table. She did not plan to eat. She just wanted to watch, to understand. "Why are you not afraid of me?" she asked. Taiho stirred something in a pot. "Should I be? Everyone is afraid of me." "Well, everyone else dies when you touch them. That's a pretty good reason to be scared." He shrugged. "I don't die. So why would I be afraid?" It was such a simple answer, so logical. Yuna did not know how to respond to logic. She was used to fear and respect and hatred, not calm acceptance. "Tell me about humans," she said. Taiho brought 2 bowls to the table. He placed one in front of her. It was some kind of soup with vegetables and meat. He sat across from her and started eating. "What do you want to know?" he asked between bites. "Why did my poison not kill you?" Taiho thought about this while he chewed. "Humans evolved on Earth. It's a rough place. We have thousands of venomous animals. Snakes, spiders, scorpions, jellyfish. Plants that can kill you if you eat them wrong. Diseases that wiped out millions of people before we learned to fight them." He took another bite. Our bodies learn to deal with toxic things. We develop strong immune systems. Our livers are really good at filtering out bad stuff. I guess your venom just isn't strong enough to get past our defenses. Yuna looked at her soup. She had not eaten a meal with another person in 10 years. The last time was with her brother the night before the Keth came. Your planet sounds dangerous, she said. It is. Or it was, I guess. We made it safer over time. But yeah, Earth tried to kill us pretty much every day. We just kept surviving. Taiho smiled. Humans are stubborn like that. The galaxy thinks humans are weak, Yuna said. I know. It's kind of funny, actually. They see us and think we're soft, small, harmless. He finished his soup. They don't realize that we come from a death world. Everything on our planet was trying to eat us or poison us or infect us. We didn't become the top species by being weak. Yuna thought about this. She had met many species in her travels. Keth warriors with armored skin, Villani soldiers with 4 arms, Kristen beings made of living stone. She had killed all of them with a single touch. But humans, these small, soft, ordinary-looking creatures, they had survived something none of those species could imagine. She picked up her spoon and tasted the soup. It was good. There's a drink on Earth called soju, Taiho said, watching her eat. It's a kind of alcohol, basically poison. Humans drink it for fun. Yuna almost choked. You drink poison? For enjoyment? All alcohol is poison. Our bodies just learn to process it. We get a nice feeling for a few hours, then our liver cleans it out. He grinned. We also eat capsaicin. It's a chemical that plants make to stop animals from eating them. It causes pain and burning. We thought it tasted good, so we bred plants to make more of it. You bred plants to hurt you more? We call it spicy food. Very popular. Yuna set down her spoon. She was looking at this human with new eyes. The galaxy had completely misunderstood his species. They were not primitives who stumbled into space by accident. They were survivors of a world that tried to murder them every single day. And they had won. The council paired us together on purpose, she said slowly. They knew about human resistance to toxins. Taiho nodded. Probably. You needed a partner who wouldn't die if you accidentally touched them. I was available. You volunteered for this mission? Yes. Why? Taiho was quiet for a moment. His calm expression flickered with something deeper, something sad. The Keth destroyed my home colony 5 years ago, he said. A small settlement on the edge of human space. 3,000 people. They wanted our mining resources. When we refused to give them up, they killed everyone. He looked at her with those steady eyes. I was off-world when it happened, visiting family on Earth. I came back to find ash and bodies. My parents, my sister, my friends, all gone. Yuna understood. She knew that feeling too well. The emptiness of being the one who survived. So you want revenge, she said. I want to hurt them, Taiho admitted. I want to make them pay for what they did. But I'm not a soldier. I can't fight them directly. So I do what I can. I help people who are fighting them. I use my skills to cause damage where it matters. He smiled again, but this time it was not gentle. It was sharp. This facility on Oris 7, if we destroy it, we hurt the Dominion. That's enough for me. Yuna looked at this human, this soft, ordinary-looking man with sad eyes and a sharp smile. He had lost everything, just like her. He had chosen to fight, just like her. He kept going, just like her. Maybe they were not so different after all. Finish your soup, she said, then come to the cockpit. I will show you what we know about the facility. Taiho's smile became warm again. Thank you. Yuna stood and walked toward the door. She paused and looked back. The soup was good, she said. You can cook again tomorrow. She did not wait for his response. But as she walked to the cockpit, she realized something strange. For the first time in 10 years, she did not feel completely alone. It was a dangerous feeling. She knew she should push it away, but she did not. She let it stay. They were sitting in the cockpit, reviewing security plans for the facility. Yuna was explaining guard patrol patterns when he suddenly asked, "What was your world like before the Keth came?" No one had ever asked her that. People asked about her kills. They asked about her poison. They asked how many had died by her hands. No one asked about the world she had lost. Yuna was quiet for a long time. Tai-Ho waited patiently. He did not push or repeat the question. He just sat there, giving her space to answer or not answer. Beautiful, she finally said. Our forests were purple. The leaves caught light differently than other planets. At sunset, the whole world looked like it was on fire, purple and gold and orange. She closed her eyes, remembering. Our oceans were silver. Something in the water reflected light in strange ways. When you swam in them, it felt like swimming through stars. It sounds amazing, Tai-Ho said softly. My family lived near the coast. My father was a teacher. My mother was a healer. She helped people learn to control their gift. Yuna opened her eyes. Our toxin. It was not always a weapon. Before the galaxy found us, it was just part of who we were. Children learned to control it from a young age. We could touch each other safely. We could touch the animals and plants of our world. But not aliens, Tai-Ho said. No. When we made first contact, we learned that our touch was deadly to other species. We isolated ourselves after that. We did not want to hurt anyone. We just wanted to live in peace. The Keth found you anyway. Yuna nodded. Her hands tightened into fists. They saw us as weapons. They did not see people. They saw biological tools they could use for war. When we refused to help them, they decided to take what they wanted by force. She had told this story before, but only in pieces, only the facts. This was the first time she had spoken about the feelings behind the facts. I was 19, she said. I was training to become a healer like my mother. I wanted to help people. I never wanted to hurt anyone. She laughed bitterly. Now hurting people is all I do. Tai-Ho moved his chair closer. Not too close, just enough to show he was listening. What happened that day, he asked. When the Keth came. Ships filled the sky. Thousands of soldiers landed. They rounded up everyone in my village. My father tried to protect us. They shot him in the street. Yuna's voice was flat now, empty. They put us in transport ships. I was separated from my mother and brother. I never saw them again. How did you escape? The soldiers did not know what we could do. They had heard stories, but they thought we had to bite people or inject them somehow. They did not know that our whole skin was toxic. Yuna looked at her hands. A guard touched my arm while pushing me into a cell. He died in seconds. His friends tried to help him. They died too. She remembered the fear in their eyes, the confusion, the way they fell one after another, convulsing on the floor. I killed 17 soldiers getting to an escape pod. I launched before their fleet could catch me. I drifted in space for 3 days before another ship found me. She paused. A traitor. He tried to sell me to the Keth. I killed him too. Tai-Ho was silent. His face was hard to read. Does my story disgust you? Yuna asked. All the people I have killed? No, he said. It makes me angry. At the Keth, at a galaxy that saw your people suffer and did nothing? Yuna blinked. She had expected judgment, pity, maybe fear, not anger on her behalf. Tell me more about Earth, she said, changing the subject. Tell me about your death world. Tai-Ho seemed to understand that she needed to talk about something else. He leaned back in his chair and thought for a moment. Earth has everything that wants to kill you, he said. We have deserts where the heat can cook you alive. We have frozen places where the cold kills you in minutes. We have mountains so tall that you cannot breathe at the top. We have oceans with creatures that can swallow ships whole. Yuna listened with growing amazement. We have tiny insects that spread diseases. Mosquitoes, they are called. They killed more humans throughout history than anything else. We have bacteria and viruses that can wipe out millions of people in months. We call them plagues. How did your species survive? Yuna asked. Stubbornness, mostly. Tai-Ho smiled. We adapted. We built shelters. We made medicine. We learned to farm food instead of hunting it. Every time something tried to kill us, we found a way to survive. He held up his hand. This body is the result of millions of years of survival. My immune system can fight off most infections. My liver can filter out most poisons. My skin heals from cuts and burns. My bones can break and repair themselves. I have seen species with stronger bodies, Yuna said. The Keth are faster and tougher than humans. True, but we have something else. We do not stop. We do not give up. You can hurt a human, wound them, break them down, but as long as they are breathing, they will keep trying. Taiho's eyes were serious now. We survived a death world by refusing to die. That stubbornness is built into our genes now. Yuna thought about this. She had killed Keth warriors, Villani soldiers, beings from dozens of species. They all had limits. When the pain became too much, when the wounds became too severe, they stopped fighting. Humans did not stop. Your species is terrifying, she said. Taiho laughed. I know. That is why the galaxy underestimates us. They see soft skin and small bodies. They do not see what is underneath. And what is underneath? He looked at her with those calm, steady eyes. Survivors, every single human alive today is descended from people who refuse to die. That is our inheritance. That is what we carry in our blood. Yuna thought about her own species. The Solari were gentle, peaceful. They had never learned to fight because they never needed to. Their toxin protected them from predators. They had no natural enemies, until the Keth came, and the Solari did not know how to survive. Humans were different. Humans had been fighting for survival since the beginning of their existence. They had earned their place in the universe through blood and pain and endless determination. She looked at Taiho with new respect. 2 more days until we reach Horus 7, she said. Show me the security system layouts again. Tell me your plan for getting us inside. Taiho nodded and pulled up the holographic displays. As he explained the technical details, Yuna watched his hands move across the controls. Soft hands, gentle hands, hands that had never killed, but hands that belonged to a survivor, just like her. Maybe together, they could make the Keth pay for everything they had done. She was starting to believe it was possible. The planet Horus 7 was ugly. Brown rocks, brown dust, brown sky. Nothing lived here naturally. The only reason anyone came to this place was the Keth facility buried deep under the surface. Yuna landed her ship in a canyon 5 kilometers from the facility entrance. They would have to walk the rest of the way. Scanners would detect any vehicle that got closer. Taiho checked his equipment one last time. He carried a small bag of tools and devices. No weapons. He said he did not know how to use them. Stay close to me, Yuna told him. Do not touch anything unless I say so. Do not speak unless necessary. And if we are discovered, get behind me. Because you will kill them? Because they cannot kill me with a touch. They can kill you very easily. Taiho nodded. He did not argue or try to act brave. Yuna appreciated that. Too many people pretended to be stronger than they were. Taiho knew his limits. They walked through the brown wasteland. The wind blew dust into their faces. Yuna had wrapped cloth around her mouth and nose. Taiho did the same. Neither of them complained. The facility entrance was hidden inside a natural cave. 2 Keth guards stood at the entrance. They wore full armor and carried plasma rifles. Yuna studied them from behind a rock. Wait here, she whispered. She moved like a shadow. Years of killing had taught her how to be silent, how to be invisible. The first guard did not see her until her fingers touched his neck. He dropped without a sound. The second guard turned at the small noise. Yuna was already there, her palm pressed against his face. He fell beside his partner. She waved Taiho forward. He stepped over the bodies without looking at them. His face was pale but determined. They entered the cave. Inside, the natural rock quickly changed to metal walls. Keth architecture, cold and sharp. Yuna had seen it many times in her missions. She hated it. They reached the first security door. Taiho knelt beside the control panel and opened his bag. He pulled out small tools and a device she did not recognize. His fingers moved quickly and precisely. The encryption is strong, he murmured, but it has a weakness. They use the same basic framework on all their doors. Once I crack one, I can crack them all. How long? 3 minutes. Yuna watched the corridor while he worked. She could hear footsteps somewhere in the distance. Guards on patrol. They had studied the patterns. They had time. A soft beep. The door slid open. They moved deeper into the facility. Taiho cracked door after door. Yuna killed guard after guard. They worked together silently, efficiently. She had never had a partner like this. Someone who understood her without needing explanations. Someone who did not slow her down. An hour later, they reached the central chamber. The door opened and Una stopped breathing. The room was enormous, larger than anything she had expected. Metal walls stretched up into darkness. Lights blinked on thousands of machines, and everywhere, lining the walls in rows that seemed endless, were tanks. Glass tanks filled with liquid. Each tank contained a creature, alien bodies twisted and deformed, floating in chemical solution. Tubes connected them to machines. Monitors displayed genetic data. Una walked forward as if in a dream. She stopped in front of the nearest tank and looked at the creature inside. It was not alive, just growing. Being built from nothing. She read the genetic information on the monitor. The words blurred. Her hands started shaking. Silari DNA markers detected. "They are making copies," she whispered. "They are using my people to make weapons." Taiho came to stand beside her. His face was grim as he read the data. "Not copies exactly," he said quietly. "Modified versions. They are taking Silari genetic material and combining it with other species, trying to create soldiers with your toxic ability. They harvested my people." Yuna's voice was barely audible. "Before they killed them, they took their blood, their tissue, their DNA. They kept it all. They have been using it for years." She looked around the room. Thousands of tanks, thousands of monsters being grown from the remains of her species. The Silari were gone, but their genetic legacy was being twisted into tools of war. The rage came suddenly. It filled her body like fire. She wanted to scream. She wanted to destroy everything in this room. She wanted to find the Keth commanders and kill them slowly, painfully, making them suffer the way her people had suffered. She started walking toward the nearest machine. She would tear it apart with her bare hands. She would smash every tank. She would burn this place to the ground. A hand caught her arm. Taiho held her firmly, not trying to hurt her, just stopping her from moving. "I know," he said. His voice was calm and steady. "I know what you are feeling. I felt the same when I saw what the Keth did to my colony. The rage, the need to destroy." Una tried to pull away. "Let me go. If you start destroying things now, you will set off alarms. Guards will come. We will have to fight our way out. Maybe we escape. Maybe we do not." He looked into her eyes. "We came here to destroy this facility. All of it. Every tank, every machine, every piece of data. We can still do that, but we have to do it smart." "They used my people," Una said. Her voice cracked. "They turned us into monsters. I know, and we will make them pay. But not like this. Not by throwing away our mission and our lives." Taiho's grip was gentle now. "Let me plant the charges. Let me download their data so we can expose what they did. Then we blow this place up and watch it burn. All of it. Nothing will remain." Una breathed hard. The rage was still there, burning in her chest. But Taiho's words reached through it. He was right. She knew he was right. "They need to suffer," she said. "They will. But the best way to hurt them is to succeed, to destroy their work, to show the galaxy what they have done." Taiho finally released her arm. "Trust me, please." Una looked at him. This human, this strange, calm, impossible human. He had lost everything too. He understood her pain better than anyone else in the galaxy. She nodded slowly. "Do it," she said. "Plant your charges. Take their data. I will watch the doors." Taiho smiled sadly. "Thank you." He got to work. Una turned her back on the tanks and their horrible contents. She could not look at them anymore. She stood guard at the entrance, listening for approaching soldiers. But in her mind, she was already watching this place burn. Soon, she promised herself. Soon. Taiho worked fast. He moved through the chamber, planting small explosive charges on key machines. He connected them all to a single detonator. One button would bring everything down. While he worked, he also downloaded data from the central computer, files about the experiments, reports on genetic harvesting, lists of Silari victims, names, ages, medical information, all the evidence needed to show the galaxy what the Keth had done. Una watched the door. Her body was tense, ready to move at any moment. The facility was too quiet. They had been inside for almost 2 hours. Something felt wrong. Almost done, Taiho called softly. 2 more charges. Yuna nodded but did not relax. Her instincts were screaming at her. Something was coming. The lights changed. Red replaced white. An alarm started blaring through the facility. A voice spoke through speakers in a language Yuna knew too well. Keth. Intruders detected in central chamber. All units respond. They found us, Yuna said. Hurry. Taiho did not panic. His hands moved faster, placing the last charges. 30 seconds. Footsteps echoed in the corridor. Many footsteps. Running. Yuna positioned herself at the door. The first soldiers appeared around the corner. She met them like a storm. Her hands found exposed skin, touched necks and faces. Bodies fell. More came behind them. She had killed 6 when the plasma bolt hit her shoulder. The pain was sharp and burning. She stumbled but did not fall. Her hand grabbed the shooter by the throat. He died before he could fire again. But more were coming. Too many. She could see them filling the corridor. Dozens of soldiers with weapons raised. Done! Taiho shouted. I have everything. We need another way out, Yuna said. Blood was running down her arm. They have blocked the main corridor. Taiho looked around desperately. He pulled up a map on his portable device. There! A maintenance tunnel. It leads to a secondary hangar. They ran. Yuna killed anyone who got close. Her shoulders screamed with pain, but she ignored it. Pain was just information. She would deal with it later. The maintenance tunnel was small and dark. They crawled through metal passages following Taiho's map. Behind them, they could hear soldiers shouting, searching. They emerged in a storage room, crates and equipment everywhere. Taiho found the door to the hangar and started working on the lock. Yuna leaned against the wall. The blood loss was making her dizzy. She pressed her hand against the wound, trying to slow the bleeding. Taiho glanced at her. How bad? I will survive. Let me look at it. Open the door first. He hesitated, then turned back to the lock. 30 seconds later, it clicked open. The hangar was small, only 3 ships. But that was enough. They just needed one. They were halfway to the nearest ship when the door on the other side of the hangar opened. A Keth commander walked through. He was massive, taller than any Keth Yuna had seen. His armor covered every part of his body. A helmet hid his face. He carried a blade that hummed with energy. Behind him, soldiers spread out, blocking all exits. The Venom Queen, the commander said. His voice was deep and cruel. I am Vorak. You have killed many of my soldiers over the years. I have wanted to meet you for a long time. Yuna straightened. Blood dripped from her fingers. Then come meet me. Vorak laughed. I am not a fool. I know what your touch does. That is why I wear this armor. Complete environmental seal. You cannot reach my skin. He raised his blade. I will take you alive. The scientists want to study you. Add your genetic material to their collection. The original source is always valuable. Yuna felt cold. They wanted to harvest her, just like they had harvested her people. You will have to kill me first, she said. That can be arranged. Vorak signaled his soldiers. Take them. Taiho stepped forward. Yuna grabbed his arm. What are you doing? Get behind me. He is armored. Your poison cannot touch him. Taiho looked at her with those calm eyes. But I do not have poison. You are not a fighter. No, but I am human. And we do not stop. He pulled free of her grip and walked toward Vorak. The Keth commander tilted his head. A human? What can a human do against me? Taiho did not answer. He just kept walking. Vorak swung his blade. It was fast, faster than Yuna expected. Taiho twisted aside, but not fast enough. The blade cut across his chest. Blood sprayed. Taiho stumbled but did not fall. He kept moving forward. Vorak struck again. The blade caught Taiho's arm. More blood. Taiho grabbed the blade with his bare hand. The energy burned his palm. He did not let go. What? Vorak tried to pull back. Taiho punched him in the helmet with his free hand. The impact was not strong enough to break the armor, but it made Vorak lose balance for a moment. That moment was enough. Taiho released the blade and grabbed a tool from his belt. A small cutting device. He had used it to crack security panels. Now he jammed it into the gap between Vorak's helmet and chest plate. The armor seal broke. Taiho shoved his bloody hand through the gap. His blood touched Vorak's skin. Nothing happened. Taiho was human. His blood was not poison, but his hand was inside the armor now. He grabbed something and pulled. Tubes, life support systems, communication wires. He tore them all out. Vorak roared and threw Taiho across the room. The human hit the wall hard and collapsed. He did not move, but the damage was done. Vorak's helmet was damaged. His armor was compromised. And when he turned to face Yuna, she could see exposed skin on his neck. She was there in an instant, her fingers pressed against that exposed skin. She let all her rage flow through them. Every ounce of venom her body could produce. Vorak screamed. He convulsed. He fell to his knees. "That was for my people," Yuna whispered. He stopped moving. The other soldiers stared in shock. Their commander was dead. The Venom Queen stood over his body, covered in blood. Then they ran. Yuna did not chase them. She turned and ran to Taiho. He was breathing, barely. Blood pooled beneath him. His chest wound was deep. His arm was burned. His hand was destroyed. "Taiho," she knelt beside him. "Stay awake. Stay with me." His eyes opened slightly. "Did we get him?" "Yes, he is dead." Taiho smiled. That same gentle smile even now. "Good. Humans do not stop." "You are an idiot," Yuna said. Her voice was shaking. "You should have stayed behind me." "You were hurt. I helped." His eyes were closing. "Partners help each other." Yuna lifted him. He was heavier than he looked. Her shoulder screamed with pain. She did not care. She carried him to the nearest ship and laid him inside. The ship started easily. She flew them out of the hangar just as more soldiers arrived. They fired at the ship, but she was already rising into the sky. When they were high above the facility, she pulled out Taiho's detonator. "Watch," she said, even though his eyes were closed. She pressed the button. Below them, the facility exploded. Fire and smoke rose into the sky. The ground collapsed as underground chambers were destroyed. Everything burned. Every tank, every machine, every piece of her people's stolen legacy. Yuna watched until there was nothing left but flames. Then she turned the ship toward the stars and flew. The stolen ship was small but fast. Yuna pushed it to maximum speed, putting distance between them and Aura 7. Her hands were steady on the controls even though her body was shaking. Behind her, Taiho lay on the floor. He had stopped bleeding, but he was not conscious. His breathing was shallow. His skin was pale. He needed medical help. Real help. Not the basic supplies on the ship. Yuna found the first aid kit and did what she could. She sealed his wounds with medical foam. She gave him painkillers and antibiotics from the emergency supplies. She wrapped his burned hand in clean bandages. It was not enough. She knew it was not enough. She returned to the controls and plotted a course to the nearest neutral station. 2 hours away. She did not know if Taiho had 2 hours. "Stay alive," she said to the empty cockpit. "You hear me? You do not get to die." Her own wound was still bleeding. She had ignored it while treating Taiho. Now she took a moment to seal it with the same medical foam. The pain was manageable. She had felt worse. An alert beeped on the console. Ships behind them. Keth patrol vessels. Yuna's hands tightened on the controls. The facility was destroyed, but Vorak's soldiers must have reported what happened. The Keth were sending hunters. "Of course," she muttered. "Nothing is ever easy." The patrol vessels were faster than her stolen ship. They would catch up in 20 minutes. She could not outrun them. She could fight. The ship had basic weapons. But she was injured, Taiho was dying, and there were 3 patrol vessels. The odds were not good. A sound behind her. Yuna turned. Taiho was trying to sit up. His face was twisted with pain. Blood was seeping through his bandages. "What are you doing?" Yuna left the controls and pushed him back down. "You need to rest." "Heard the alarm," he managed to say. "Keth ships?" 3 of them. They are catching up." Taiho closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, there was determination there. "My bag! Get my bag!" Yuna found his equipment bag near where she had laid him. She brought it to him. His good hand fumbled through the contents. "The data I downloaded," he said, "from the facility. I was going to send it to journalists and politicians. Evidence of what the Keth did. You can do that later, after we escape." "No." Taiho pulled out a small device. "I loaded a virus into their communications system. It was supposed to activate after we left, to cover our escape. But I can activate it now. Yuna did not understand. What will that do? It will broadcast everything, all the data, all the evidence, to every ship in Keth space, to every occupied world, to the entire galaxy. Taiho looked at her with feverish eyes. The Keth have been telling their subjects that they are protectors, liberators. This data shows the truth. They harvest people for experiments. They create biological weapons. They commit atrocities. And this will help us escape how? Taiho almost smiled. When the broadcast goes out, every Keth commander in this sector will receive it. They will panic. They will start calling each other, trying to figure out what to do. For a few minutes, everything will be chaos. He held up the device. Chaos is good cover for running. Yuna took the device from him. It was simple. Just one button. If I activate this, everyone will know what they did to my people, she said slowly. Yes. Every species in the galaxy will see. Yes. Yuna thought about the tanks, the bodies floating in liquid, the genetic data showing Solari DNA, the evidence of harvesting and murder. She thought about her mother, her father, her brother, all the people who had died without anyone knowing the truth. Do it, Taiho said. Let the galaxy see what monsters the Keth really are. Yuna pressed the button. Nothing visible happened. But somewhere behind them, signals were racing through space. Data was flooding communication channels. Images and files and reports were appearing on screens across 100 worlds. For a moment, nothing changed. The Keth ships kept coming. Then the nearest ship suddenly changed course. It turned away from them and accelerated in a different direction. The second ship did the same. The third ship slowed down, stopped, and hung motionless in space. Confused. It is working, Yuna breathed. She checked the communication channels. They were exploding with traffic. Keth commanders demanding explanations. Military officers shouting orders. Politicians denying involvement. And underneath it all, the evidence spreading like fire through dry grass. The galaxy was learning the truth. Yuna pushed the stolen ship to maximum speed. No one was chasing them anymore. The Keth had bigger problems now. 2 hours later, they docked at a neutral station. Yuna carried Taiho to the medical center herself. The doctors were shocked by his injuries. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy. They did not know much about treating them. Save him, Yuna said. Whatever it takes. The doctors worked for 6 hours. Yuna waited outside, refusing to move. She ignored her own injuries. She ignored the curious looks from other patients. She just sat and waited. Finally, a doctor came out. He will live, the doctor said. His body is remarkably resilient. I have never seen anything like it. The wound should have killed him, but his system kept fighting, kept repairing. He lost so much blood, but his bone marrow was already producing more. Yuna closed her eyes. Relief washed over her like a wave. Human biology, the doctor continued, sounding amazed. We had to learn as we worked. Their bodies are incredible, designed for survival. Yes, Yuna said quietly. They are. He needs rest, several weeks of recovery, but he will be fine. Yuna thanked the doctor and went to see Taiho. He was sleeping in a clean bed, surrounded by medical equipment. His chest rose and fell steadily. His face was peaceful. She sat in a chair beside him. Her own body was exhausted. Her shoulder throbbed, but she did not want to leave. Outside the window, ships were moving, more traffic than usual. News of the Keth atrocities was spreading. The galaxy was waking up to the truth. On a dozen occupied worlds, people were already rising against their oppressors. The mission was a success. The facility was destroyed. The evidence was public. The Keth Dominion was facing consequences for the first time in decades, and Taiho was alive. Yuna watched him sleep, this strange human. This ordinary-looking man who had faced a Keth commander with nothing but courage and a cutting tool, who had torn open armored seals with his bare hands, who had refused to stop even when his body was broken. She reached out and touched his hand. His skin was warm, alive, real. For the first time in 10 years, Yuna let herself cry. Taiho recovered slowly. His human body did the impossible, healing wounds that should have crippled him. The doctor studied him with fascination. They wrote papers about human regeneration. They asked him endless questions about Earth biology. He answered them patiently, the same way he did everything, calm and gentle and kind. Una stayed with him. She told herself it was because they needed to report to the Galactic Council together. She told herself it was because her own injuries needed time to heal. She told herself many things that were not quite true. The galaxy changed while they waited. The broadcast had done its work. 3 Keth-occupied worlds declared independence within the first week. Military commanders defected, refusing to serve a government that committed such atrocities. The Galactic Council launched an official investigation. The Keth Dominion was not destroyed, but it was wounded, bleeding. Its reputation was ruined, and its power was crumbling at the edges. Una received messages every day, from resistance fighters thanking her, from survivors of other Keth atrocities who finally felt heard, from journalists asking for interviews, from the council offering her more missions. She ignored most of them. On the 21st day, Taiho was released from medical care. His chest wound had become a scar. His arm was functional again. His hand would never be the same. 3 fingers were permanently damaged, but he said he could still work a keyboard. "That is what matters," he said, flexing the scarred fingers. "I can still do my job." They returned to Una's ship together. It was still docked at the station, waiting for them. Inside, everything was exactly as they had left it. Taiho's cooking supplies in the kitchen, his small bag of belongings in the guest quarters, his devices on the desk. Una watched him walk through the ship, touching things lightly, remembering. "I should pack," he said. "My transport back to human space leaves tomorrow." Una felt something twist in her chest. She had known this moment was coming. The mission was over. They were partners temporarily. He had his own life to return to. "The council is pleased with our work," she said. "They transferred your payment this morning." "Good. That will help." Taiho started gathering his things. His movements were slow, careful. Not because of pain. Something else. Una watched him for a long moment. She had spent 10 years alone. 10 years without trusting anyone. 10 years using her deadly gift to survive and to kill. She had forgotten what it felt like to want someone to stay. "Where will you go?" she asked. "Back to Earth, probably. My family there will want to see me. My aunt has been sending worried messages." He smiled slightly. "She thinks I am a simple tech contractor. She does not know about the missions." "You could tell her the truth. She would worry more." Taiho zipped his bag closed. "Better that she thinks I fix computers for a living." He lifted the bag onto his shoulder. His eyes met hers. "It was an honor working with you, Una. I mean that." Una did not move from the doorway. Her body blocked the exit. She had not planned to do that. It just happened. "Stay," she said. Taiho blinked. "What?" "Stay here, on this ship, with me." The words came out before she could stop them. Una felt exposed, vulnerable. She had not asked anyone for anything in 10 years. She had forgotten how terrifying it felt. Taiho set down his bag slowly. His expression was unreadable. "Why?" he asked. "Because—" Una struggled to find words. "Because you are the first person who can touch me. In 10 years, every other being in the galaxy dies from my poison. But you just said it stings a little. That is not a reason to keep me around?" "No, it is not." Una took a breath. "The reason is that you saw me. Not the Venom Queen, not the assassin, not the monster everyone fears. You saw me. Una, a person. You cooked meals for me. You told me about your planet. You held me back when I wanted to destroy everything in rage." Her voice was shaking now. She did not care. "You faced a Keth commander with your bare hands because I was wounded and could not fight him. You almost died for me. No one has ever done that. No one." She looked into his eyes. "I do not want to be alone anymore. I want you to stay." Taiho was quiet for a long time. His calm eyes studied her face, looking for something. "The galaxy is still dangerous," he said finally. "The Keth will want revenge. Bounty hunters will come after you. Every mission could be your last. I know. I am not a soldier. I cannot protect you in a fight. I do not need protection. I need—" Una paused. I need someone to remind me that I am still human, still alive, still capable of something other than killing. Tai-Ho's expression softened. That gentle smile returned to his face. You are not human, he said. You know what I mean. Yes, I do. He set down his bag completely. I will stay. Yuna felt the tension drain from her body, relief and hope and fear all mixed together. But I am cooking dinner tonight, Tai-Ho continued. You have been eating nothing but ration bars for 3 weeks. That is unacceptable. Yuna almost laughed. Fine. And you need to tell me more about Solara, about your family. I want to know everything. That might take a while. We have time. Tai-Ho moved past her into the kitchen. We have all the time in the galaxy. Yuna followed him. She watched him open cabinets, gather ingredients, start preparing a meal. His scarred hands moved with familiar ease. He hummed one of those songs she still did not recognize. She reached out and touched his shoulder, just to feel the warmth, just to remind herself that this was real. He did not flinch. He did not pull away. He just kept cooking, accepting her touch like it was the most natural thing in the world. For him, maybe it was. Later that night, they sat together in the cockpit, watching the stars. Yuna had plotted a course to nowhere in particular. They were just drifting, enjoying the peace. Where should we go next? Tai-Ho asked. I do not know. The Council will have more missions eventually, but for now we rest. Yes, Yuna looked at the man beside her, this human from a death world, this ordinary-looking person with extraordinary resilience, this gentle soul who had seen her at her worst and stayed anyway. She took his hand. His skin was warm against her toxic touch. He squeezed her fingers lightly. Humans are strange, she said. So are Solari. We are going to cause a lot of trouble together, are we not? Tai-Ho grinned. Probably, but the Keth deserve it. Yuna smiled, a real smile. The first one in 10 years. Outside, the stars stretched into infinity, a galaxy full of danger and wonder and possibility. Somewhere out there, the Keth were licking their wounds and planning revenge. Somewhere, other species were fighting for freedom. Somewhere, new threats were rising. But here, in this small ship, a Solari assassin and a human survivor sat side by side. Two people who had lost everything and found each other. Two weapons who had chosen to be something more. The Venom Queen, whose touch killed everyone in the galaxy, and the human who walked away, together.